Hi, I'm Mike from Teambox. This is your run through of how to use an app called MyFitnessPal, which is the app that we use on pretty much any smartphone for tracking and recording your food. And it really will be your best pal when it comes to getting results. We use this because tracking your calories and being aware of the amount that you're eating is the most consistent and accurate method of achieving the results that you desire. Because typically people aren't that aware of just what they're eating, what's in their food, the amount at which they're eating, and how much activity they are actually currently doing in relation to their intake and hence weight loss. So I'm going to give you a run through of the basic steps of how to use it. So this is the app. So simply download it, and you've got a few options down the bottom. You've got a home screen, which will have some targets for you. Typically you're going to be given some generic targets, which I would encourage you to ignore, because what you're wanting to do first of all is just get an awareness of the amount of food you're currently eating rather than trying to aim for some targets. You also have a diary, which is a place where you're going to list the foods that you've eaten. So today, for example, I've got my breakfast in there, but I'll be logging things for you in tomorrow. You've also got an input here, which is a plus button, where you can add different things, so food, water, exercise, weight, and status. You've also got a progress screen, which is able to monitor your weight and see how that changes throughout the weeks. And this is your sort of settings. You can buy a premium MyFitnessPal, which has got different features within that, so you're able to change calories on different days. You're able to use different measuring techniques and things like that. It's not entirely necessary, but it is a useful tool to have. You've also got a profile where you can set your weight, you can set your goals, you can set calorie and macronutrient goals, which is going to come a little bit later when you're aware of your maintenance calories. And you've got also things like challenges, nutrition, meals and recipes, and just a few other useful things. Nice community, and you're able to link up with friends on there as well. But for this purpose, I'm just going to explain how to go about tracking your food. Okay, so we're back on our diary, and like I said, at the minute I've got some targets, but we're going to be ignoring those. All we're going to be doing is adding foods into our breakfast, our snacks, our lunch, and our dinner. You do have an input for exercise at the bottom, but I would encourage you not to bother inputting that because it will alter the targets that you are given. And when you are tracking calories and when you do have a target to aim for, you essentially don't want to be putting in extra exercise because that target should already be accounting for your exercise. So first things first, I'm going to use breakfast, and the first thing I'm going to do is add a barcoded scanned food. So it's really, really simple. So the first thing you do is click add food. You can look at the recent foods that you've put in, or you can click the search bar where you can type in a food. But firstly, we're going to go for the barcode. So you click the little barcode, you get the packet of whatever it is that you're scanning, and really, really quick, simple. You'll see that this is a sweet pickle jerky from Top Herd coming in at 96 calories. And then this should match up to the nutrition information that is on the back of the packet. And it really is that simple. So when you've got the correct input, you just click the little tick at the top and that will go into your breakfast. It's then given me the calories and the breakdown of macronutrients, the carbs, the fats, and the protein that's contained within that food. If that was your day complete, you would look at your nutrition, and then it can give you a breakdown of that in greater detail and how close that you are to your goals when you do eventually have those set. So this goes into a little bit more detail with protein, carbs, fiber, sugar, fat, and a breakdown of vitamins and minerals within there also. So now I'm going to input something through the search option. So we're going to call it lunch. So I'm going to add a food and I'm going to search. Now when you're searching, you want to be as specific as you possibly can to find the right option. So for this option, I'm going to go for Tesco chicken breast. So you type it in. I've spelled Tesco wrong, which is a great start. There we go. I'm then going to search that. And then you're going to come up with a list of options. So a breaded chicken breast, peri-peri chicken breast raw. So essentially you want to select the one that matches up, have you not scanned the barcode. So the one I'm going to go for is the chicken breast raw. So I'm going to click that. And then obviously what you're going to do with the chicken breasts is they're not all going to be 130 grams. They're going to come in different weights. So you can change the serving size from 130 grams to 1 gram. You will then weigh the amount of chicken that you have in that breast. So you'll put it on the scale, and let's say that's come out at 175. So you've got 175 servings of 1 gram. So essentially 175 grams. You press a tick on that, you press the tick again, and then again you've got your calories, the carbs, the fat and the protein breakdown. Now I've showed you how to use the app, I'm going to give you some practical tips that are pretty much essential when it comes to making sure that you're as accurate as possible. So the golden rule, first and foremost, is that you weigh everything that you're home cooking raw. So essentially, you want to be cooking your chicken. You want to be weighing your chicken raw before you cook it. You want to be weighing your steak raw before you cook it. Your rice raw before you cook it, and again your potatoes raw before you cook it. Because what the cooking process does to certain foods, you cook a chicken breast, it's going to lose some water in the cooking process, so it's going to come out lighter. And had you weighed it afterwards, you may get a false reading. The same goes with things like rice. That's actually going to weigh more because it's absorbed some of the water during the boiling process. So you need to make sure that you are weighing everything before you've cooked it. Now there are a few exceptions of that. So for example, a Tilda rice or a microwave rice, or Uncle Ben's, whatever it is, you can take the packet value on that because essentially you're cooking it and those values have already been calculated for you on the back of the packet. Other exceptions are, say you've got a pre-cooked packet meat, again, there's no way that you can cook that raw as it's already been cooked, right? And then again, when you're eating out at restaurants, you're not going to go into the back and ask the chef to weigh out your foods for you. So again, you want to be using an alternative method and using the cooked values for foods that you're eating out. So when you are eating out, that's really, really simple. Essentially, you in chain restaurants can pretty much find anything within MyFitnessPal. Let's say, for example, you're going to Nando's or McDonald's or Pizza Express. All of those macros and those calories for all of their menus are already listed. So it's as simple as searching for half a chicken from Nando's or whatever pizza it is that you're having from Pizza Express. Really, really simple. If you're eating at an independent, so that's something where the macros aren't listed, or say a pub, or even things like eating around a friend's house, then you can just try to equate the calories, something that might be a good alternative. So if you're eating at a place that hasn't got its macros listed, but yet you're still having that same half chicken and chips, you can track it as a Nando's half chicken and chips because it's not going to be too much of a discrepancy. Again, if you're eating at a pub and let's say you're going for the steak and chips, I might then select something like a Tesco's Finest or an M&S steak, something that's really quite sort of decadent and uses those better cuts of meat, similar to what you would get at a restaurant, and track it as something like that. So that's a really nice alternative that you can switch for. If you do want to be as particular as you can be, and you want to get really accurate, there are scales that aren't too bulky. These are a really nice set by Joseph & Joseph. I'm not plugging it, but they are genuinely pretty good. They just simply open up like that. They fit in handbags, pockets, and you can just take those in pretty discreet in a restaurant and just weigh out your food if you are that way inclined. And typically those in a fat loss phase who are really trying to get to the leaner end, you're going to need to do that at some point if you're eating out consistently. But the main thing is that if you are eating out at a restaurant, just track things to the best of your ability, because as I said before, you're not going to be a million miles out. It's always better to track something than nothing, because those habits are then going to enforce habits later down the line. And you should always try to overestimate, because essentially you don't want to be tracking like a Weight Watchers meal when it's clearly not a Weight Watchers meal, because you're just cheating yourself. The app doesn't care. Just track it sensibly and honestly to the best of your ability. So that is just a brief overview of how to use MyFitnessPal. It might seem a little bit complex at first, but believe me, when you get used to it, which will literally be in 3 or 4 days, you should be taking a few minutes and you're pretty much going to nail it. I know that the clients that we all work with at Teambox are a little bit daunted at first, but with a little bit of guidance, they're able to do it really, really simply. And again, like I said earlier, I just want to reiterate that it is the most accurate and most consistent method of being able to achieve your results. If you are struggling and you do need a little bit of help and a little bit more guidance, you need a coach to just guide you through the process, maybe teach you a little bit more in depth, show you how to track meals out, come up with strategies of how to track meals out, how to include alcohol, give you your own bespoke macro and calorie guidance. Then we do have group coaching available. We also have one-to-one coaching available. So head over to www.team-box.co.uk to just have a look at what we do provide and the great testimonials that we've got from our clients, which we use these methods with.